School can be pretty expensive, so how do you get through it without drowning in debt?
This is something I definitely didn't do and I didn't understand when I graduated from high school. I had a scholarship that I didn't understand and therefore I didn't use it like I should have. And also the people giving me guidance in my life at the time encouraged me to take out debt because they made it sound like that was just normal and how you get through school. So long story short, I graduated with college with a lot of debt. And I wish it would have been different. The other thing that I was picturing was that when I'd graduate from college, I'd be making all kinds of money, so I'd be living the good life. But I didn't consider how much expenses I would have and how much debt I would have. So in the grand scheme of things, it really wasn't what I thought it would be. So that's the reason we're making this video, is to help you start thinking about a financial plan.
With the cost of school being so expensive and the amount of debt you come out with, it's an investment to make. Sometimes it takes years to pay off your debt, or even decades.
Just like any other investment, whether it's stock or a business, it would be helpful to research and map it all out and have a plan in order to have the most successful outcomes.
A good place to start would be to write everything out. So the first thing I would encourage you to write down is the total cost of everything. So your tuition, your dorm or your rent that you're gonna have to pay, your books, your scrubs or equipment, anything like that, and then your loans if you have to take out loans, and then their interest rate and how long they're for. So get the total cost of everything down on paper.
The next thing we encourage you to write down is your earnings. So how much you're currently earning or you plan on earning over the duration of the program. And maybe that's nothing, maybe it's just you have a savings or something else. But if you do plan on earning money, write that part down, and then also write down how much you plan to earn when you graduate. And don't write down the median or the average income that people make with that job. Write down like maybe what an entry-level position would make.
After you have taken time to write down your cost of everything and your total earnings of everything, then the next step would be to see how long it's going to take you to pay off all that debt. So once you finish school, whether you're a PT, whether you're a PTA, and you have that final amount of debt, and then you're finally getting paid your set rate, then see how long, what is the length of time it's going to take you to pay off all that debt. And try to do it with different pay rates. So say if you pay the minimum amount you owe on your loans, then see how long it's going to take you to pay them off. And then also see, what if I pitch in an extra $500 a month or an extra $100 a month? How fast will you be able to pay them off?
The other thing that we didn't talk about yet is just having a budget. So this is like normal day-to-day expenses. So your food and whatever else your lifestyle entails. You go shopping or do you do a lot of entertainment type stuff, going to the movies, because this stuff does influence your overall debt. So some things that they tell you during the program is that they don't necessarily encourage you to have a job, especially during clinicals, because you're working at a facility practicing your skills. So it's hard sometimes. It doesn't mean you can't, because Antonio and I both had jobs during the program, but it's not necessarily encouraged. So considering what your normal lifestyle is very important when you're considering the next couple years of your life when you're going through school.
Once you have done your homework and you've mapped out your investment of becoming a PT or becoming a PTA, the next thing to do would be to find ways to minimize your risk with that investment. So finding ways to reduce your debt, basically. One of the ways to reduce your debt would be to get a scholarship. Now, there are a lot of scholarships out there, some for sports, some for academics, some for being a certain ethnicity or race or anything like that. So we encourage you to search and research for different scholarships. This is something that I didn't really do, but a lot of my friends did, and they got scholarships for the most random things. So there's a lot of scholarships out there, you just have to find them.
Although having a job isn't necessarily recommended during the physical therapist or physical therapist assistant program, this is a way you can reduce your debt. And honestly, I feel like it is possible. So if I think of my classmates, some of my classmates said, nope, I'm not having a job, but they also were in a volleyball league, you know, where I spent the time where I could have been playing volleyball, working at my job. So there are times that it makes sense. And even during your clinicals, like you could have a job on the weekends or maybe waitressing at night or something like that. I think it is possible. It just depends on how busy, I guess, you want to be and where you want to dedicate your time.
Also, while we're talking about getting a job, a great job to get would be a physical therapist technician or an aide, because this way you get to practice your skills while you're still earning money. And also, if you want to become a physical therapist, maybe starting out as a PTA might be a good way to get that experience and pay off some of the debt that it takes to be a DPT.
The other thing to know is that there are are hospital systems and companies that will pay for part of your schooling if you commit to working for them for a certain length of time. So that's worth looking into if you're considering having a job during school or even after school.
Another way you can reduce your debt is by talking to a financial advisor. So if you go to a college and talk to a financial advisor, sometimes they can help you get financial aid based on your income.
Now that we've talked about ways to reduce your debt, if you still come out of college with loans, there are 2 effective ways that you can start tackling them. The first is called a snowball effect. Basically what you do is you pay off the smallest loan first. Once you've paid off that, you take what you were paying on that and apply it towards the second lowest loan. And what essentially happens as you're paying off these loans and applying it towards the next lowest loan is it starts to build momentum, therefore snowball effect. The second effective way to tackle a loan would be by paying the highest interest rate loan first. So if you have a loan that has 7% interest and a loan with 2% interest, pay the loan off first with 7% interest, essentially saving you money in the long run.
Other ways you can earn money is by eating ramen noodles for life.
Buying a lotto ticket.
Or starting a YouTube channel.
Playing your guitar on the side of the road.
Doing magic tricks to impress your friends and then hopefully they pay you something when you're done. The final question then that everybody is probably wondering to themselves at home when you're watching this is school actually worth it then? Is it worth it to become a PTA? Is it worth it to become a PT? I don't know. Let us know in the comment section below what your guys' thoughts are, if you think it's a good thing or bad thing, if, you know, maybe you should be an electrician.